Did you make Malcolm? Did you clean up Malcolm? Did you put Malcolm out before the world? Was Malcolm your traitor or was he ours? And if we dealt with him like a nation deals with a traitor, what the hell business is it of yours? You just shut your mouth and stay out of it. Because in the future, we're going to become a nation. And the nation got to be able to deal with traitors and cutthroats and turncoats. The white man deals with his. The Jews deal with theirs. May have been complicit in words that I spoke. I acknowledge that and regret that any word that I have said caused the loss of life of a human being.
Before I came here, I prayed and included my parents. They had to walk with me to the airport. They had to get me out of that hotel and into the property here. I'm a child with a forever memory of the most significant man in my life standing at a podium and falling backwards. That's forever.
Ms. Shabazz, for several months, I carried the picture of your father with all of these bullet holes in his chest. And I looked at the man that taught me, the man that nurtured me, the man that was the example of a man to me. And I wept. There was a dynamic inside of the nation that troubled Brother Malcolm at the highest echelon of leadership.
Well, the fact of the
there
matter,
was envy. Okay. There was envy.
Envy of Malcolm.
Of Malcolm.
By
there
you?
Was, no, never by me.
Never by you?
Never by me. Never. I truly loved this man.
Who envied him?
There are those in the circle who feared the kind of publicity that he was getting, the kind of attention that he was getting. He was the most vocal. He was the most loved. He was the most honored and respected.
And he outshone the Honorable Elijah Muhammad.
In certain areas, yes.
Let me read you what you wrote in December of 1964. The die is set, and Malcolm shall not escape, especially after such evil, foolish talk about his benefactor, Elijah Muhammad, in trying to rob him of the divine glory which Allah has bestowed upon him. Such a man as Malcolm is worthy of death. This was only 2 months before he was shot down. That is why people believe that you were responsible for the death of Malcolm X.
No, not at all. My name was not among those at that time who were considered the players.
Indeed, the FBI probably had something to do with it. But we have to say that adult men between the ages of 20 and 40, black faces, who chose to put a trigger in their hands and unload until it was empty, have to be culpable. You can't keep pointing the finger because my father was not killed from a grassy knoll. And I have sisters who are spun out into this environment as tumbleweed, unhealed. We knew to stay silent because as a child, I thought it could happen to me. That if I spoke up or said something, they'd take my mother. They'd take one of us. I got to hear reports of the traitor deserved it, so it never could go away. Those reports didn't come from the government. Those reports did not come from the police. They came from the tan and brown and black faces that once claimed themselves as family members.
Yeah, I like the way the Muslims run around, Nation of Islam crowd. I like the way they run around, talk about how they down for the black man, I'm for the black man. The black man, the Jews steals, white man bloodsuckers. And it's just talking about Islam. But as best I can remember, I've been around a few years. But as best I can remember, I don't never remember nobody from the Nation of Islam ever killing anybody white. They sure did kill Malcolm, though. You know what they did? You're talking about y'all showing up, stomp down black men, Muslims. Somebody wrote me an email, you can't hold a candle to Louis Farrakhan. He's a really black leader. Wrote me and told me. I said, yeah. You know, but while Louis Farrakhan was waiting to be national spokesperson, taking away that privilege from Malcolm, black Muslims walked into the Audubon ballroom with shotguns. And while Malcolm X was standing before his little girls, his precious little babies, some little old girls, they came to hear daddy speak. They're not thinking about nothing like that. They're little babies. You know how daddy loves his little girl. They sitting on the front row, these little girls, they precious little babies, along with his wife, his faithful wife, sitting there on the front row. And here come the black man. Here come the black man that voted for Obama. Here come the black man that talks that black talk, that calls me Uncle Tom, calls me, handkerchief head nigga. Here come the black man. Here come, got a shotgun, and in front of this man's children, shot him and mowed him down, riddled his body with bullets, right in front of his children. That's the kind of man y'all are. That's the kind of man y'all want me to be. Is that what you want me to be? Is that what make that you'll take me off your Uncle Tom list if I will subscribe to that because Louis Farrakhan will show in on the mix? He was there, not at the shooting, but at the planning. He was there that raised the sentiments of hatred against Malcolm. Lewis was there. Is that what y'all call a black leader? That's what I call a coward, a lowlife, somebody who's not worthy for me to step on. I'll go get an elephant to step on the Muslims before I do it. They're not worthy.
Farrakhan, I don't trust Farrakhan. I think he killed 13X. I think he killed Malcolm X. Because guess what? I got a book on Farrakhan, a book on Malcolm X, where they said that when they was going to kill Malcolm X, Farrakhan said, I want his head. I want his head. I remember that.
I saw that.
I remember that. Farrakhan said that. So why would you silence a brother, right? If you silencing a brother, and when the brother got killed, he didn't have no bodyguards around him. Why didn't the NOI protect 13X? Why didn't the NOI was there when Malcolm X was killed? Because you was down with it. Now that the white man don't want to give you no money, you broke, you fuck with Gaddafi now, all of a sudden, you want to go against the white man and come out with a book called Jews Selling Blacks. The secret relationship between black and Jews. You know why? Because the white man gave up on you, nigga. Said, fuck you, nigga. So what you did, you went against the white man and said, fuck the white man, right? The Jews, because they ain't put no more money on the table, because you don't want the control. Let me tell you what Farrakhan did. The Jews stopped giving him money, financing this nigga. And you know what he did? He said, fuck you, crackers, I'm going to reveal all the truth. But why you didn't reveal the truth back then, if you was a true brother? You understand this? Why you revealing the truth now, if you God?
One thing that I could say about the brother Farrakhan, I followed him when I was younger. But damn, man, you got Malcolm and you got Colin.
No.
You wait a minute now. He in his day and time, he said some shit that was so inflammatory about Malcolm, man, that, he had to even come out and apologize for it, man. He had to apologize for it because he know that in his position of leadership, he had younger Muslims that was looking up to him. And he said it himself that he might have put out information that might have, influenced others to participate on that information, man. So when you got Malcolm on your plate, and you also got Khalid on your plate, man, we ain't talking about just two little bitty soldiers. We're talking about some of the greatest that we had on the front line. And you can't take those type of individuals off the front line if you intending to win. I understand what you're saying. But you also have to take in mind that these are two of our greatest. These ain't no little foot soldiers. These are literally generals. that you can, might have had, something to do in their demise. So we have to, sometimes Farrakhan has not been put on the table. He got to be put on the table just like everybody else. He is not above criticism. And, he deserves to be criticized just like everybody else. But nobody seemed to want to put him on the hot seat. And he deserves it, man. He's just like anybody else. So if he could put Khaled on the hot seat, he could put Malcolm on the hot seat, he deserves to be on that hot seat, too.
And once we can stand up like a man on our own feet, we stop begging the white man. And we stop apologizing to the white man. We stop compromising with the white man.
Well, do you say, but let me ask you a question, because, I'm going to be honest. I love Khalid Muhammad, man, to the bottom of my heart. And what the thing is that he had a large following amongst the young black men, not only in America, man, we're talking about around the world. And when Farrakhan Nation of Islam sat him down like that, they kind of broke a lot of spirit amongst the young black youth. So do you think that, it could have been another way that he could have done that, man? Because that really, man, drove a wedge. Where Farrakhan was in charge of that paper, and he put derogatory cartoons. He okayed that shit. Well, excuse me. I mean, with Malcolm's head chopped off. His head is chopped off of his body, rolling down the street. Farrakhan came on and apologized for the information. No, he might not have pulled the trigger, but he was in a leadership role, knowing that there were younger Muslims out there that was feeding off of that information. He knew that. So don't try to get him up off the hook. You got Khalid and Malcolm on your hand. And when you talking about Baba Clark, when Malcolm left the Nation of Islam, he went into the bosom of Dr. Clark and Dr. Ben, because those were the only people in Harlem that he could get any type of assistance and advice from. So Dr. Clark seen what was going on behind the scenes. So you wasn't there. Dr. Clark, that's why Dr. Clark is so hard on Farrakhan ass, because he know the truth. So don't come in here, man, 40 years after the what then went down and debate Dr. Clark. He know. I can buy a final call just 2 months ago. They got our rock from the front cover to
That's right.
with our 4 on the back page.
That's
man,
right.
Don't come in here, man, and tell me nothing about Farrakhan. Farrakhan is an Arab sluggy. That's all he is. Now you can take that to the bank.
True.
He's trying to drive the Nation of Islam into Orthodox Islam, just like Wallace Dean Mohammed. All of them trying to take the Nation of Islam, which they is doing, into Orthodox Islam. He's an Arab.
True.
Tell the Nation of Islam to speak out about Darfur. Tell them to speak out about the Arab atrocity that's going on in Africa.
Next topic, Farrakhan challenge. I'm challenging Farrakhan on the basis that he already has an army of troops and soldiers and a very large influence over the black community, which he demonstrated at the Million Man March to bring all those black people together. But he's not using his army to secure anything that is realistic for our people. He's only used it to secure a space in the American spotlight or in the international spotlight. If the Nation of Islam was serious and they had claimed to be friends of Gaddafi, they would have went and fought with Gaddafi in Libya to have rights and control over oil and land in Africa. Am I correct? If this sovereign man with this sovereign nation accepts you and is going to share a certain amount of his sovereignty with you, is it not worth fighting for? Instead of him going to fight for Libya, Gaddafi going to give him $5 million. His master tell him, you can't take it. He can't even claim wealth. That's how I said you in the matrix. The amount of wealth he can even receive is limited. So how are you going to build a nation? How are we going to have our own country and build our own nation? And you are limited by the white man. You accept his limits. If we want to have our own nation and country, they would have went to Africa and fought